really good. This is the Rand Paul take. It's so fucking psychotic.
Americans like to mock modern monetary theory. The idea that government
This is the
can
best
print
one.
money with
I thank you for sending this to me, chatter. I was gonna watch the fuck out of this. Hold on, I gotta get a new coffee too.
The government can spend whatever it wants without the need to tax. Modern monetary theory is basically the Dick Cheney deficits don't matter crowd, trussed up with a new fancy title. Most Republicans rightly lampoon this quackery. That is, when they're not practicing the quackery themselves. Today, many of these same Republicans will vote for a bill that makes modern monetary theory look like child's play in comparison. The monster spending bill presented today is not just a deficits don't matter disaster, it is everything Republicans say they don't believe in. This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed or own your own house or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time? Why stop at $600 a person? Why not $1,000? Why not $2,000? Maybe these new free money Republicans should join the Everybody Gets a Guaranteed Income caucus. Why not $20,000 a year for everybody? Why not $30,000? If we can print up money with impunity, why not do it? The Treasury can just keep printing the money. That is, until someone points out that the emperor has no clothes and that the dollar no longer has value. To so-called conservatives who are quick to identify the socialism of Democrats, if you vote for this spending monstrosity, you are no better. When you vote to pass out free money, you lose your soul and you abandon forever any semblance of moral or fiscal integrity. So the next time you see Republicans in high moral dudgeon claiming and complaining about spending of Democrats and socialism, remind them if they supported this monstrous bill that really the difference between the parties is less Adam Smith versus Marx and more Marx versus Engels. How bad is our fiscal?
Okay, here's how you shut Rand Paul the fuck up, dude. Anytime a libertarian tries to tell you, like, oh man, these deficits, dude, these deficits, they're crazy, remind them that Rand Paul voted for one of the largest deficit increasing tax cuts in American history. The only reason why this fucking spaghetti-haired, brittle-boned dipshit is talking about our deficits and talking about modern monetary theory. Like, he's saying that the Republicans are fucking woke with how much money that they're giving to people. The only reason why he's fucking doing that is because poor people get money now. That's why. This motherfucker does not care when it comes to rich people not giving money to the government to reduce the deficit or paying for social safety nets and social programs. He will fucking beef up the deficit by the widest of margins. But when it comes to poor people getting a crumb, $600, dude. Like, how dare you? If you're making less than $75,000 a year and you get $600, first of all, that's a fuck you. Like, it's literally, like, if they gave you zero, at least you could be like, oh, I don't know what happened. But like, they give you 600 and they say like, you should like this. This is enough for you. It's literally for you to be like, know your fucking place. Okay? Know your place. I'm spitting on your face, but it's actually, and telling you it's raining. Rand Paul's actually right. You're just taking things out of context. Yeah, he's
Fiscal
right.
situation. Well,
Whoa.
the federal government brought in $3.3 trillion last year and spent $6.6 trillion. The deficit last year, a record-busting $3.3 trillion.
Dog, you literally voted for it. Like, what are you saying, you fucking asshat? You literally fucking voted for it, dude. What is he saying? Like he is acting like this happened in a vacuum and he had no say on the matter. Bitch, you gladly voted for the fucking tax cuts. What's up?
$1 billion. If you're looking for more COVID bailout money, we don't have it.
Listen, libertarians behind closed doors call welfare riot tax. Okay? Like real rich people. They say welfare is a necessity because it's riot tax. Because you need to be so poor that it's hard for you to fight back, right? But not so fucking poor that you're starving and recognize that you're backed into a corner. Okay? So he knows the $600 is just shut up money, you know? I'm going to pay you to shut the fuck up. Money.
Penny. The coffers are bare. We have no rainy day fund. We have no savings account. Congress has spent all the money long ago. The economic damage from this pandemic is...
No one's talking about inflation when it comes to quantitative easing. We're not talking about inflation when it comes to fucking printing like trillions to stop the market from fucking crashing. Inflation only matters when it comes to giving the poor's money. And the real reason why it matters when you're giving the poor's money is because this is about enforcing. It is about making sure that someone's still cleaning the toilets. Okay? That's it. That's the real reason. That's precisely why so many fucking, Ron Paul included, so many Republicans were like, you know what's the real stimulus? Getting back to work. Like, the reality is, you know, we have all these theories about what will happen and inflation is going to happen and whatnot, as though there are no like fucking checks that we can enforce at the federal level to push back against that. But the real reason why they don't want to give you money is moral hazard, right? That's what they say. It's a moral hazard. Because if you recognize that, like, holy shit, the government could just, like, give me fucking money, why am I cleaning the toilets? Like, is the only way, and someone has to clean the toilets, and the only way that someone will clean the toilets or make the t-shirts or, you know, deliver your Postmates, the only way that they're going to do that is if they are fearful that they'll die if they don't. Okay? That's at the heart of this matter. That's the reason why so many people are like unironically frustrated with giving poor people more money. The only reason why you can get poor people to work in the conditions that they work in the jobs that they work in, is by making sure that they recognize that they'll die if they don't. That's just the reality.
Is not the reason for this runaway spending. This spending's been going on for decades. Every year, even before we...
Who cleans the toilets in a socialist society? I mean, who cleans your toilets? You do, bitch. You clean your own toilets, right? Why do you clean your own toilets in your own house? You clean the toilet. Someone cleans the toilets in your house, in your family, right? Why? You know why? Because you recognize that you own a part of that. This is your living space. This notion that, like, people would literally do it willingly if they had more ownership. If they had more ownership over their work. You're not going to want to fucking clean the toilets when you're working for someone else and you know for a fact that, like, no matter what you do, you have no say over it. And your boss can fire you on a whim, and that you have no real interest in, like, growing the business beyond, like, maybe looking better to your manager so you can maybe eke out a better living next year when you are renegotiating your contract. You can say bad take all you fucking want, bitch. I've worked at a company, okay? I've worked for someone else, and I've worked for myself. And let me tell you, there is no fucking boss that could ever get me to work 13 fucking hours a day nonstop. You know why I stream for 13 hours a day? Because I love what I do. Because I lack alienation from my work. I don't own all the means of production, but I own most of it. I suffer way less alienation from my labor than you do. That's part of the reason why I work the hours that I work. Comparing playing games to cleaning up public toilets, I clean my fucking toilet. So what are you talking about? Streaming isn't physical labor. Oh, God. Oh, the literalists, dude. Yeah, I know. Exactly. You're right. Every single fucking person in a workplace is literally doing hard labor. You dumb fuck. You get to create the entire product and do a non-repetitive job. Some people don't understand alienation. There's a difference between your toilet and a public one. Brother man, if you recognize that this is your company, like, listen, smaller companies, oftentimes, if they don't have enough money to, like, hire sanitation staff or something, will figure out a way to deal with the issue together. Okay? And the reason why, they work in, like, a familial way, like as though a family would. There's a better way to increase fulfillment in your labor. If you have autonomy, if you have control over your job, and if you truly believe that, like, the business is not going to work without sanitation, it's not. When you recognize that and pay appropriately for it, regardless of, like, how replaceable that labor is, that's when you arrive at that is when you arrive at a situation in which people will do jobs that they don't consider to be as fulfilling or as emotionally or mentally stimulating as other jobs. Someone who worked for a small business, cleaning was a responsibility since they couldn't afford a cleaning service, but also paid a livable wage. In Japan, the schools don't have janitors and students do all the cleaning. Yeah, I've heard of this before. Shut up. I didn't permanently ban them. I banned them for 2 weeks because they wouldn't stop adding me and asking me to stop cursing over and over again. See you next year. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say sayonara. See you next year, baby. Here in New York City, sanitation workers for the city are paid handsomely with great benefits and surprise the job gets filled immediately. Yeah, there's a reason for why they get decent benefits and decent wages, brother. Some of you may not be old enough to know why. Is when they fucking did work stoppages, the entire city smelled like shit, more than they usually do. That's what happens when you can exercise your collective bargaining powers. Okay?
Get to all the extra COVID-free money, we've been spending $1 trillion we don't have. Today's money is gone. So Congress is spending tomorrow's money. The spending chart is a red line of red ink that goes on forever. When we talk about spending tomorrow's money, it's not just the money that we need next month, it's the money we might need in a decade. It's the money we will need in 1, 2, 3 generations from now. For national defense, for infrastructure. This is the money that your children and your grandchildren will pay back with interest. The deficit doubling and tripling. Under George Bush, it went from $5 trillion to $10 trillion. Under President Obama, it went from 10 to 20 trillion. We're now at 27 trillion, but we're adding it at $1 trillion a year before we get to this COVID budget-busting bailout. Every tax-paying American already owes over $136,000, and they're staring at projections into the future that show no end. We are $27 trillion in debt today. How do we expect a child to have the economic opportunity when this crushing debt is their inheritance from God?
What destroys economic opportunity, I wonder? Like, is it the wages remaining stagnant for the past fucking 40, 50 years, or is it the inflation? I don't know. Cost of living is very, very, very high for really important areas. Like, a necessity for upward social mobility is education. Prices of college is fucking skyrocketed. A necessity for survival is shelter. The housing market is constantly fucking broken. You have inelastic demand for healthcare. You die without it. You need it. Price of medicine in America is 10x. Price of pharmaceuticals and healthcare is like 10x in comparison to comparable nations. Those are the areas that we could absolutely fix with regulation. But Rand Paul is, of course, a libertarian, so he doesn't want that. Just get insurance? Brother, I pay $666 a month for just insurance.
Congress. The numbers are mind-boggling. It's hard to conceive of what $1 billion is, much less $1 trillion. How big is $1 billion? Well, 1 billion seconds ago was 1988, and Reagan was president. 1 billion minutes ago, Jesus walked the shore of the Sea of Galilee.
By the way, like, who fucked over the deficits in comparison to like previous administrations? Like, I don't think he can't be like a fucking fan of Ronald Reagan either, right? I mean, Because the other side of this argument always relies on taxation. And these guys are like anti-tax. Okay, well then anyone who cuts taxes are fucking destroying the deficit. Like these guys are like things that you literally are voting on and are excited for and advocate for are straight the fuck up destroying the deficit. So what is this argument?
A billion hours ago, man still lived in caves. But $1 billion ago was just 80 minutes ago. $1 billion ago at the rate Congress spends money was just 80 minutes ago. All of this should be setting off alarm bells. But the only alarm bells in Congress are sounding the alarm for more spending and more debt. No cuts, no offsets, no pay for.
Dude, partially the reason why people don't advocate for cuts is because it's harmful politically, and only Democrats are stupid enough to ever fucking run with that. Okay? Like, you gotta be a real fucking idiot to be like, oh, we need austerity. You gotta be the biggest idiot to advocate for austerity at a time when there is a pandemic. Like, but Rand Paul is that kind of idiot. So it's not surprising that he's saying these things.
No prioritization, just print it up. Print up more money and give it out to everybody because it's free money. Come and get yours. Well, the getting's good, but it leads to a mountain of debt. Spend all this money and leave the future to figure itself out. John Maynard Keynes was once asked, what about the long run? He said, in the short run, you can make a stimulus, you can print money, and you can give it to everybody. And Maynard Keynes, his response was, in the long run, we'll all be dead. No concern for the future.
Yeah. When I think about people who have concerns for the future, I think about the guy whose worldview is perhaps most responsible for the death and destruction that American workers face. Like, I think about libertarians when I think about those who care about our future. Come the fuck on, brother.
Only for the immediate. Our budget deficit for 2020 was $3.3 trillion, but this new spending package will also give us another $2 trillion in the next fiscal year. By refusing to acknowledge the debt crisis, we are only hastening the day of economic reckoning. Total debt was 55% of GDP just 20 years ago. Today, it's 128% of GDP. So our total debt is more than our GDP, 128% of our GDP. The World Bank estimates there's a tipping point of debt to GDP at about 77%.
You don't care about our future? No, he doesn't care about our future. It's dumb as fuck. Libertarians don't care about the fucking future. When they talk about debt, they're ridiculous. Like, if you truly cared about debt, then you wouldn't advocate for tax cuts. If you truly cared about debt, you would not advocate for tax cuts. If you truly cared about the future, you would not advocate for austerity, especially at a time when there's an economic crisis that's looming over us as a consequence of a fucking pandemic. It's their lack of care about the future that literally leads us down this nefarious ideology that destroys America, or at least the American working class and their conditions.
Every percentage point costs another tenth or so of economic growth. So every year.
Why do you have a sub goal during a pandemic? Because I love capitalism and I love making money, or maybe because if I closed off my sub goal, then people would say I'm hiding my income. It's not like I'm like, hey, you guys got to get me to 750. I don't do that. I'm not saying like you got to get me to 4,750, 40,750. It's not a goal. It's just the only way to show it. This is the way to show the number. Notice how my heart rate went down when you made that stupid argument? It didn't work. Or you could just not mention it, ... Do I mention it? Thank you, Edgar, for the 5 tier 1 gift subs. I've never heard you mention the sub count out of context or in a weird way. No. Sub count is not sub gold. There's I can't show it other way. Like on Streamlabs, there's no other way to show it. You are the one who mentioned it. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, it's top of the hour every hour, which means that there is a 60-second ad break. If you would no longer want to see the ads, you can subscribe. Or you can just watch the 60-second ad at the top of the hour, or use a ad block. Even though most of the ad blocks now will stop you from seeing the stream or whatever the fuck Twitch is doing lately. I don't know what they're doing. Here's the ad. That sub goal in a pandemic shit is a Jimmy Dore talking point. He blasted Jank for fundraising, so I imagine his idiot supporters are gonna bring it here too. Ugh. People always bashing you while Kyle, Pepe Levy, and many more also make big cash with their content. Like, there are some benefits you get as a subscriber. There are some benefits you get as a subscriber. You can send me a link in the chat. Doesn't mean I'm going to click on it. You don't watch ads. You get to use the emotes. But most of the benefits that you would get as a subscriber, you can get as a free viewer. There are plenty of people who watch me for free. Hold on. Someone knocked at the door. They watch me for free. They can talk to me, and I will read their fucking chat. Like, I will read the chat diligently. It does not matter if you're a subscriber or not. I don't care. Like, you don't have to subscribe. You subscribe only if you want to. As a matter of fact, I don't call out the subscriptions. Everyone in here knows that I do not call out the subscriptions. I'm eternally grateful for those who do subscribe. But I'm not going to be the guy who calls out your subscription, so much so that there's a meme about it in my community about how it's a dono wall. Whenever people do subscribe, I never read out their subscription. Hold on. I think it was just delivery. Thank you, Strike a Dragon, for the 100 gift subs. Holy shit. Dude, my mom is not here, and she's like sending the weirdest fucking shit. My mom is not here, and she's sending the weirdest fucking shit right now. I don't know why. Like, I got a fucking package. I got a package with like, no one's at the door, but I got a fucking package with like, with just like random like, cups and shit, like glasses and cups and plates. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. Hey man, oh man, dodged again. Hey man, so do subscribers not get the OnlyFans? Hey man, do subscribers not get the OnlyFans? The OnlyFans that you get is a video of me fucking your mom, okay? That's the OnlyFans that you get. Like, why is this such a fucking, like, why is this a talking point that is seen as like a pejorative or a bad thing? Like, it's so weird when people just like weaponize OnlyFans. It was a joke. It's a fucking shitty one, dude. It's a really shitty one, okay?